Welcome into the DGD podcast. As always, Robert Reynolds. Keon will be here shortly. No Brock Bowers? No problem for the dogs. Them Gators got that ass beat, folks, 43-20. We're going to talk to you about that. We're going to recap that game Saturday. Listen, a lot to talk about there, but also introducing college football playoff rankings come out tomorrow, and we've done our own predictions for this, what we think the top 25 should look like with the playoffs as well. So we're going to introduce us a little bit later tonight. And obviously it's Monday, which you know what that means. And that is the next installment of Your Team is Trash. And boy, oh boy, did this Saturday and Friday and Thursday not disappoint. Not disappoint. Anyways, let's jump into it. And I'm just interested to see what the brigade shows here. Jeff, Mitch. Oh, my God. What a week, guys. For 2 weeks, social media was chirp, type about what Georgia's going to look like without Brock Bowers and how Florida had a chance to win this game. Yet come Saturday, after Florida scored that touchdown on the opening drive, it did not feel like they had a shot at all. Just did not. Just didn't. I don't really know what else to say other than the offense was clicking and the defense looked dominant. And that's something that Georgia fans have to be rejoicing. I know I am, because starting Saturday, that was the slate that we needed to look better at, right? We needed to look complete. We can't, we have to play complete football. We did that. So when you're looking at the situation, Carson Beck did his thing again. Defense got after the quarterback. Take that for what it's worth. And all in all, another cocktail party down. Another cocktail party where Florida leaving before the fourth quarter occurs. What's Georgia fans to complain about that? I'm just going to leave that there. Jeff saying O-line and D-line manhandle their asses. Yes. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, where you're specifically talking. But Mitch said, how about them fucking dogs? That's what I told him. And 100% right. Physically broke them bitches, okay? Physically broke them bitches. And obviously, listen, if you're in the comment section, let us know what part of the game was most exciting for you to watch, right? Let us know. But I think for me, we'll start off here. The offense, without Brock Bowers, made a statement. It made a statement, and Ladd McConkey stepped up. Dom Lovett stepped up. You had Kendall. You had Dejon. The offense stepped up. That's the beauty of it, folks. We try to tell people. We tried to tell them. We're more than just Brock Bowers. But here we are. Saturday or the Monday after the cocktail party, and now the national media has their answers for the most part. Florida fans finally understood what the fuck it was about. Don't mess with the dogs. As simple as that. Just don't. Just don't. The gap between Georgia and Florida is only getting wider. It's only getting wider. It's only getting wider, and I'm okay. Because fuck Florida and what they stand for. And if you have orange or blue and you wear that proudly, I don't care about you or what you stand for. Again, I just don't. Because it's always and forever fuck Florida. Mitch says, I got to be honest with you, Robert. The most exciting part of the game was the beginning of the fourth quarter when his wife and kids said, let's go trick-or-treating. And he did. Ain't it fun to watch a rivalry game become such a blowout that you can do family gatherings and events and not even stress it? Just simple enough, right? Simple enough. Excuse me. Yeah, because it was over. It was. Georgia capitalized on several some weird coaching calls. Like we'll talk more about that in just a minute. But Jeff says 4-1 stop by the defense was his favorite moment. Everyone on the defense was key to that play. Yeah, 100%. I think you won all three facets of the game Saturday. And, and the reason why I have to bring it up tonight is because of the blocked punt for safety. You have to look at that. But let's kind of get back on the offensive side of the ball. Carson Beck did his thing again. And if you're not putting him in your Heisman discussions at this point, I don't know what you're watching. Because I don't think you're watching Georgia football by any means. Just going to leave that there. The guy continues to mature. He going through the progressions, processing things accurately, not making mistakes. Guys, no turnovers, no picks, no fumbles, not even a ball dropping on the ground. When was the last time this season we had that happen? So with that being said, we just had a really complete game, mistake-free game. And the offense capitalized on that. And that's what you need to do. And that's what championship caliber teams do. It's that simple, but it's not simple, right? Because if it was simple, everybody would do it. Mitch says, pour one out for Ladd Dampala. Welcome back, Ladd McConkey. Welcome back to the end zone. Got the first touchdown on the board, 40, I think you're just outside of 40-yard touchdown. And I want to touch on that play because a lot of people, if you're not familiar with the pass and why it was thrown that way, it looks perfect. Right? I say it looks perfect. Excuse me. The ball was thrown behind him, and it forced him to stop, right? But if you watch that play, it looks like it was by design, and that's because it was. Ladd McConkey was looking at the ball, and Carson Beck had to lead him the appropriate way. It's ball communication, right? With that being said, forced him to stop because and that trust between Ladd and between Carson, them two, he threw it behind him to force him to stop. Knowing that Carson did that on purpose, he then turns back and runs the opposite way, wide open, you know what I mean, for a touchdown. It's little things like that are going to win you football games. Not every time you need to throw a receiver right in front of them. Sometimes you got to throw it on their back shoulder and slow them down. In that case, it worked out perfectly. So, well, I thought that was a perfect throw. It was a great read, great pass, and even better execution on scoring the touchdown. So I was completely on board with that. Mitch, yeah, Mitch said zero stress about that game too. Yeah, no, it was nice, man. It was nice. Now you get, everybody gets to trick or treat tomorrow, and knowing that you just beat your biggest rival, it's always fun. It's always fun. But I think another thing too was, Jeff had mentioned the offensive line, and boy, did they look impressive. Did they look impressive or what? Looking at the situation where you have, excuse me, you have, Cedric Van Pran. There was a specific play where Florida actually had dialed up a nice stunt to try to stop us on an inside zone. Called it, and got the guy and was patient. Things like that. And I think everybody may have saw this if you have social media to another part of the game. That's Ernest Green decleating, I think, Marshall from Florida. Absolutely just leveled that man. I think that dude's probably still eating oatmeal. He got his shit right. So our offensive line was extremely aggressive, played smart, and gave Carson Beck all the time he needed. I don't think Carson even took. I think Carson maybe took one sack, but that's about it. It was a really good game. Jeff says another great moment was watching those four sad Gator fans consoling each other in the stands. Oh, that was brilliant. Yeah, for those watching at home, yeah, that was chef's kiss. That was really chef's kiss. Yeah, that was fun to watch. And they acted like they didn't know it was coming. Tried to tell people for 2 weeks though, but that's just neither here nor there. Um, it's just funny how that works. It's just funny how that works. But I think to me as well, and I'm going to pose this question here for the brigade as well. Tell me your thoughts on Oscar Delp in his first game as a starter, right, replacing Brock for the time being. I thought he did really well. Obviously, we got the one-handed catch. I'll take that for what it's worth, absolutely. But I think he held his own in blocking too. It's not easy. Right? We think it is, and a lot of it is because Brock does such a good job at that. But at the same time, when you have the situations, you got to step up. Our running backs had a good amount of time to do what they had to do and ran for a good amount of yards. I think Dejon had like 99 yards or so. So it was a good all offensive performance, and I think Delp really helped himself out. Also, I think I like the way that we got vertical as well. We didn't attack deep shots all the time, but we've been using a lot of intermediate crossing routes, and I think to me that was on display. Right? I think you kind of see that. I think you look at Lad McConkey perfectly over 100. I think 134 ended up 134 yards or something. A lot of it was intermediate, and he just ran after the catch. You don't always have to go for 70-yard bombs when you can sit there and throw for 20 and then run for 30, or catch a 20-yarder and then go for 5 extra, right? Or just get a 20. Fuck, it don't matter at that point. I think you have to catch the explosives. I think that was something that we capitalized on as well. It was, generating explosive plays. I wanted to see a home run shot in the run game, but we didn't get to see a true home run hit. And I don't think we've got to see that yet. I just wait to see how that looks. But I do think it'll be interesting to see once everything's settled, if we can get that situated. I mean, we're doing a great job running the ball. I'm not going to say we're not, but I'd just like to see a home run style run play. But again, I'm not going to be one to complain. All right, you're just not going to do that. Just not going to do that. Now, at the same time, 43 points was the most points that Georgia scored against Florida since 1982. 42 points. I really wanted to see the 50 burger just to get Juan's revenge. Right? I think it would have been ideal. But 43 points against your rival is always fun. And let's be honest, if you're a scoreboard watcher, that game looks a lot closer than what it really was. A lot closer. It was. I mean, what, 36-7 going into the fourth quarter. The game was nowhere close. I mean, you give up 2 touchdowns, no. But yeah, it's just a dominant play. But then let's kind of move over to the defense, and I was really impressed. I think Jeff kind of brought this and leads me into it. The young guys, man, guys coming back off of injury, new faces that haven't really made that much of a wave, really stood out. Obviously, I think the big one was Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins, 93, coming back with the strip sack. And what a play, man. Like, what a play. Coming back, probably not even fully healthy either. And coming back and just taking what was his, getting the strip sack, fumble recovery, in short yardage situation, right, where you give the offense short yardage drive to score points. Cannot complain. But at the same time, I think we saw, I know everybody wants to talk about the pass rush, and we're going to get to that. I was thoroughly impressed with how well we set the edge Saturday. When you look at Marvin Jones Jr., I was thoroughly impressed and excited to see the contain to force plays back inside. I know the double reverse to Pearsall was almost a fumble, but Marvin containing him to force him back inside stopped that from becoming worse. Because if he goes for it and he gets outside, then you take a negative play and they could get it back to nothing or even make a positive out of that. So Marvin Jones staying outside to force the play back in to your pursuit, just it really showed up, and something that I think has to be called out. We've been complaining about edge play almost all season, right? Getting beat outside, taking bad angles, whatever it may be. And now you see a Georgia team that, for the most part, contained, kept the plays, forced them back inside. And you really had a good hold on their offense, on the Florida offense. I mean, I think what was it? I think they ran for like over 100 yards. I think it was like 109. But the thing is, I think the stat that should be taken away from this was like 60, some of it was in the fourth quarter when the game was completely out of hand. So when you have that situation right there, you're technically holding them to 40-some yards rushing. And it's not like they don't have good running backs, because Montreal Johnson and Trevor Etienne, both of those guys are going to play on Sundays. They just are. So that's my thought there. Did very well on edge play, and I think that's more important. It's not everything's important, but I definitely wanted to see that get fixed, and against Florida, that seemed to be the case. But we also got to see the edge rush and the pass rush. And if I come away from this game Saturday, it's the future is bright with Damian Wilson. And I think in Pimba, I think the edge class that we've got in 23 for this class is going to be special. But I also think Jalen Walker is going to get more run. He is your best pass rusher. And as crazy as that sounds, it's been proven. And Saturday was the statement. Saturday was a statement to, listen, you get, I think, 3 or 4 sacks. So I'm not complaining at all. And I'd love to see that continue to happen. Also, from the secondary, you outside of the first drive, the scripted drive, you did a very good job containing and stopping the offensive attack. Yes, they got a couple plays here, chunk plays here and there. Okay. Can't be perfect, even though we'd love for it. Can't be perfect. But what you can do is limit the points. And that's what you did. That's what you did. And it showed, right? Now, to better assist the defense, you also had a series of questionable calls, right? The double reverse, like you saw them kind of go trickeration. That double reverse was almost a disaster. If Pearsall doesn't get his hand on that's a loss, if not turnover. I mean, you're obviously losing yards on that if you get the ball at all, right? Excuse me. Fortunately, gets his hand on it and was able to corral it in, and still taking a negative, but you didn't lose anything compared to what it could have been. But I think the most questionable call would be your 4th and inches, really. Why you do a fake to the running back, basically a shotgun to your running back on a 4th and 1 or less? It makes no sense why you would do that. Like, I'm still questioning why you would do that. I genuinely don't get it. I don't get it. But at the same time, Georgia capitalized on it, and I'm on board with that. And we obviously, you look at Smile Monday, went for a run, but he got they got the turnover on downs, and then we go and score. We go in and score, and the rest is history, right? The rest is history. But to me, it just shows you that Florida got outcoached, but the talent gap is still wide as shit too. And I don't see it stopping. I just don't see it changing. I really don't. If Kirby continues to do the things that he does in recruiting and winning games, I don't know how much of a difference how much it will matter for Florida. I really don't, because when you have a fan base lackadays, like just not caring that they're getting their shit pushed in, that just tells you the state of the rivalry. And if you're on the good side, you're loving it. You are loving it. There's no better feeling than waking up on a Sunday, or hell, even after the game, just knowing you just broke their will to fucking live in that game. They didn't want to play. They didn't. They just didn't. The fans could care less at this point. Gotta love it, don't we? It makes you think. Just makes you think. But if the offense and the defense wasn't enough, you get a blocked punt for safety on special teams. Man, what a play. And I think a lot of that is identification as well. If you take a look on the blocked punt itself, you would see that they were calling it out. They called it out, and they audibled to a block rather than a normal punt formation. And obviously it led to the block punt. Those are the kind of things, the minute details, that are going to win you your 3rd national title in a row. It's what separates the teams from doing to stopping us and letting us do it. That's how you win games. And a lot of people forget about special teams until it costs them or it benefits them. Can't forget about special teams, and that's why I'm not going to let that happen. Excellent design, excellent call. Go from there. Boom. Right. I'm super excited about this game. We tried to tell any Florida fan you had no chance. You had no chance. You just didn't have a chance. And now you fucked around and you found out. Georgia looks like the number one team in the country. Should be. Yeah, and Jeff has a good question here. We're going to get to that, by the way. AP's talking about the AP poll. But yeah, no. Other than that, I'm at peace with this game. Right? It's another 365 days until they try to do it again and try to stop us. Right? But you're 25 wins in a row. Right? If you're Georgia, you've won 25 in a row. And oh yeah, by the way, that Austin Barber guy, yeah, we did have to play you. You're right. We did have to go through you. Too easy, by the way. Just too easy. Yeah, just too easy. As we welcome in my man, Keon. I said my piece. I said my piece. I'm gonna let you take it away a little bit. What were your thoughts and takeaways for this game Saturday, sir?
I mean, I got to tell you, man, just starting out, it was a great environment.
Yeah,
the cocktail party, I figured why not have myself some type of cocktail.
I mean, it looks like you're still celebrating.
I mean, it's dogs on top. That was going on.
We try to tell people that, man. We tried to tell them.
I was trying to have real conversations with people, trying to get understanding from Florida fans. Like, hey, how do you see yourself winning this? Didn't give them to me. But overall, dominant performance. The offense, humming. That boy Carson Beck came home to the city and balled out. Turf, absolutely trash, though.
Yeah, that's something I didn't bring up. Let's do that while we're on this. I want to get up talking about this for a second. So, if you didn't see the field, it was absolutely horrible. Now, keep in mind, right? Georgia and Florida play Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. However, to preface this, the Jaguars do not maintain the stadium and the turf or the grass. The city of Jacksonville does. And whoever's bright idea it was to try to resod the field 5 days before a game is played on it has to be looked at as a stupid son of a bitch.
Has to. There's no other way.
The problem is, Shamar James gets hurt. Shamar James, the Florida linebacker, in pregame warmups, hurts himself, gets hurt.
So here's my thing. Walk me. If you're that person, walk me through how that was a good idea. Please, just explain it to me. That's all I ask.
If anybody stumbles upon this and anybody has an explanation, a maintenance specialist or something, please let us know.
Please, Podcast Poppy 2 Eyes on Twitter. Just tag me in this and explain it to me, because from people that I know, because after I saw this, after the game went off, I reached out to some of my buddies that are in landscaping, and I'm like, hey, man, if I told you we were going to play a football game on a field that you decided to resod 5 days before the game happens, what would you tell me? And a lot of them told me, I hope all of those players have insurance because somebody's getting hurt. And sure enough, I mean, I'm glad that he was able to get back into the game, but I
think he had a brace on as well, but it's a concept, man.
Right.
But the thing about it to me is this too, Keon. The motive is to keep the game in Jacksonville, but if Jacksonville as a city is doing that right there,
yeah, we got to move. We got to go.
Did you hear about the 26-27 plans for Georgia, Florida? to move to an alternative neutral
Mm-hmm.
site, not even mentioning the home and home.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely hate it. I mean, make it a home and home. This just adds a whole nother level to recruiting for both teams involved. And on top of that, I would love to just go down to Athens and see us stomp a mud hole in their ass yet again.
I want to say the main venue is Ben's in Atlanta. If you're going to do an away site,
I'm not upset.
fair. I mean, I still would love to see that home and home aspect.
Me too.
I think I saw something or heard something that it costs the teams like six figures for a road game. And if you think about it, the money that's being brought in for the cities that are paying these schools to come and play, the money is what's causing this away neutral site situation, right? I don't understand why we're so worried and why we can't just revert, because in the 90s we had the home and home when
Mm-hmm.
the you know what I mean. So why is it a situation where we can't do another home and home series?
Right.
I don't understand that. I would love to understand why. So if anyone is, let me know. Yeah, it sounds like it's money. So if it's money, whatever. But why is it not an option?
Right.
Like, I don't know, because you're about to get a fuck ton of money with the new SEC deal coming in.
Oh, 100%.
So why are we still penny pinching at this point? It's a few extra million, probably. I get it, I guess. But if I'm not mistaken, isn't the Ben's turf too, or isn't the Ben's turf,
I
or is it
believe it might be like an extension of turf, not necessarily.
Which, by the way, get rid of turf at all costs.
Thank you.
Get
Thank you.
natural grass. Stop being fucking stingy with money.
Well, some of these locations, I mean, you got to be honest. Some of these places, they're not a dome,
No,
and
it's not even that, dude. It's not even that. Like if you look at it, Vanderbilt is an outfield. It's an outer, right? It's open. It's open, and they've got that turf. And we saw at the Vanderbilt game how many people were slip inside, and I was surprised that nobody got hurt. You've literally, and we're a college football, we're a Georgia football podcast. But if you go to look at the situation in the NFL right now, how many guys is it going to take for NFL teams and the trickle down effect to take place, where you pull up turf and you put natural grass? How many people are going to have to get, if you will, sacrificed for this? Aaron Rodgers, now Kirk Cousins. You've got people fucking shit up left and right, lower leg injuries. Sometimes that's worse now than your concussions and shit.
yeah.
So yeah, Kobe is alive and well, just not on the show tonight. So just
What up, Kobe?
we're not good enough. I'm gonna cry now.
It hurts my heart.
Let's see, Dog and Rampa. I hope I said that right. Welcome into the brigade. Says that the Hawks won, the Georgia basketball team won, the Dogs beat the Gators. This has been a great stretch of days.
Yeah.
Not too
Mavericks
bad.
also smacked the Memphis Grizzlies.
Mm.
So yeah,
That makes sense from you being in Dallas. That's right.
yeah,
Keon, let's see. Yeah, Kobe says 100% agree. Think there's a chance Kirk could be done. Like, hang it up. Man has a
yeah.
family, kids, wife. Yeah, I mean, again, like, it's just one of these things. Obviously, even if the grass is grass in Jacksonville, somebody's got to get investigated for that, man. Like, why are you
Like
going to
for
resod
real.
a field? Like, why resod a field when you know there's a game coming? Like, the problem is it didn't take, and you could see the vertical lines where it didn't take,
Mm-hmm.
and it was
Mm-hmm.
horrible. Like, it was absolutely horrible, and you can see it on the field from the CBS, the TV broadcast, just straight lines, and it's like that's how you know you're playing on a shit field.
Oh, 100%.
So if that happens, like there has to be some questions that come from that. I would hope that happens, because not only, like, sure, it may not have impacted the game too much, but what if it did? What if it did? Because I mean, Shamar James, I guarantee you, Florida fans are upset. Shamar James had to wear a damn brace to play through the game.
Exactly.
The one time I'll take up for him.
No, for real.
because it's just dumb shit, man.
Right. And you don't want that stuff to end up affecting a player down the line
Yeah,
because we don't know, really.
listen. I know it's always fuck Florida, but I'm
Yeah.
never gonna wish injury upon somebody.
Yeah,
Just
never.
not like it'd be better than that, right? But yeah, now let's talk about this. Yeah, we talked about your thoughts for the game. Now let's talk about the offense without Brock Bowers. We tried telling him, Keon. We tried telling him. What did you see? What was your takeaways from the offense specifically?
Carson Beck, Oscar Delp, Lab McConkey.
These white men are dangerous. No one is to go near them.
That is accurate.
To see Carson scramble out of the pocket to hit Oscar Delp. I mean, Oscar Delp, shout outs to Oscar Delp with the one hand snag. Beautiful pass. Um, but Lab McConkey went off. Shout outs to him. I mean, fighting through it. Uh, he had an incredible game.
I mean, hell, and on the defense, you got Brock Bowers having
Wow.
4 sacks, and right, Brock Bowers had multiple stops on 4th down. Right, like
Mm-hmm.
Brock Bowers just did it all, man. That's all
Yeah.
Georgia is. It's the Georgia Brock Bowers.
Yeah. We are Brock Bowers in Georgia. That's just what it is. That's just what it is.
I don't know what to tell you.
Seriously though, on a serious note, can we get more of Jalen Walker playing edge, please?
Oh,
Can
I
we
think it's gonna
just
happen. I think it's gonna happen.
like can we like hey Jalen, if you're watching this, we love you wherever they want to put you. But me personally, if you could just only play edge, not just only, but like 99% of the time,
yeah,
that would be great for us.
100%. Yeah, listen, I think you see a 3rd down blitz package, and two, I think you're going to see expanded playing time for several guys. I think Jalen Walker has to be on the field more,
Yep.
and I think that could be, for what it's worth, maybe MJJ and Jalen Walker with Pop and Smile. I think that's an excellent front. I think that's the linebacker edge combo that I think I need to see.
100%.
I think that's the case. Um, Damon Wilson, man. Damon Wilson get a half sack with Mike Hill there. Talk about speed rush. Blew past those tackles, by the way. Those tackles were too big to be truly a problem stopping the pass rush, speed rush per se.
I mean, we've had this conversation before.
But nobody listens, man. Nobody fucking
Yeah,
listens.
yeah. It wasn't. Uh,
At the
it's just
same time,
weird.
though, we haven't. I mean, for what it's worth, before this game, we hadn't really had that kind of game where we got to the quarterback like that.
No, that's true. And for us to get 4 sacks in the first, was it the first half?
I believe so.
Yeah, I mean, for us to come out there and set that tone, it just shows that we're moving in the right direction. Um, but if you really want me to be honest with you, bro, what really made it very obvious to me that we were gonna win this game actually has nothing to do with the game at all. It's the fact that they had players coming on to social media fighting with fans and uh fighting with fans in Brooks Austin over shit that he shouldn't even have taken time to even reply to. Like let's just be for real. If you're really locked in at this point in time, you're talking maybe 48 hours out max.
Maybe I think it was. Well,
You're
you also had Austin Barber come out in one of those pregame press conferences saying 24-0 was nice, but they still got to come through us. And if at some point you would hope
okay.
that Florida would gain the 2 extra IQ points to be able to understand not to give bulletin board material in a game like this, because first off, you don't need much for Kirby to fucking have his ears pinned back on this game.
Like I've always. Oh, go ahead. My bad.
Kirby Smart, and first off, yeah, Kirby Smart, but Mike Bobo came at that like a spider monkey. He came at him like a spider monkey.
100%.
My man, listen. Todd Hurley has some of the strongest wrists in America.
Mhm.
If you saw that high five that Bobo gave him, my man's wrist took a beating in that fucking high five. Just gonna let you know that.
Man,
My man,
and
you could tell. You could tell he gave a good one because Harley didn't even do anything after that. He just kept his hand there. It's like, blah. That's what it looked like.
well, to me, I mean, it's just, and that was something that I was trying to tell Florida, like have that conversation with Florida fans, and even telling people within our own fan base. Um, Truth be told, they really don't even know what they have over there with Billy. But one thing that we know is that our coaching staff understands the rivalry. And that was something I was trying to get through their heads. Like, we have 3 coaches that have played in this game. Like, they know what this is. They know how big this is. They know what this moment is. So it's not going to be a situation to where we're going to come out there and take it lightly. No, we're coming out there and we're attacking.
Yeah, Jeff helps us clarify, saying the high five came after the Death March drive.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's just what it is. Uh, and it got to a point where I was watching the game and I was just like, okay, what is Florida doing? What are they doing? You want to do a trick play on a 4th down that you go for?
I'll tell you this though, if I'm gonna give them any kind of credit, I will say Eugene Wilson is gonna be good for them.
No, 100%. Him and Pearsall, but I can't even really say that because you won't give him the ball. Like, you'll start the
Well,
game out with him.
I'll tell you this though, that first drive, I don't care what people say, right? It's a scripted drive, but you still got to go out and execute, right? That first drive, the way they moved the ball and distributed to Eugene, it was one of those things where Georgia took a punch on that 3 minutes, 4 minutes, right? But the perseverance to make the adjustments, right? Make the
Hmm.
adjustments for one, and just constrict and continue to constrict, right? For the rest of that game, or at least up until the fourth, was what was more impressive to me about that defense because we've seen them give up plays and drives, multiple at times. You let them go. You let them go off on that first touchdown. I was like, okay, that's your scripted drive, but that looked really good. Let's see
No, I
how we
did.
respond on the next defensive drive. But at the same time, there, you look at this defense. This defense stepped up and it grew up. You finally got what looked like a pass rush, and I think you have an argument. Uh, you know, with tomorrow coming out for your for your case to be number one potentially. But let's do this first, Keon. Let's transition to our over unders, the high tough over under. Obviously, everyone participated here. So, Keon, you went 4-2.
Yeah.
Then Kobe and Juan went 2 for 4, and I went 3-3. Carson Beck, the first one was Carson Beck, 92% of snaps at quarterback, took 96.2% of the snaps. It was personal for Carson Beck, and he
100%.
he played the whole game up until the kneel downs. Oscar Delp, Lawson Lucky, 4 combined receptions, only had 2. I think both to Delp. So that hit the under there. Dejon Edwards over 85 rushing yards, but 95. CJ Smith, my boy, got his reception, so it cracked the over on the half reception. UGA and Florida both with 0 picks, so both hit the under on the UGA interception line and the Florida line. So I'll be glad to know that I picked CJ Smith to get that reception, and it worked out well. Just gonna leave that there. Keon,
Hmm.
shall we introduce the playoff rankings, the DGD podcast playoff rankings? Are we
Yeah.
good for this? Guys, tomorrow at 7 p.m., I think it is 7 p.m., I believe. Obviously, the first installment of the playoff committee rankings come out for the CFP rankings. But we're not here to discuss that. We're here to make our own rankings as they stand. So we're going to show you our top 4, but we're also going to go through the 25 as well to get the best of both worlds. So without further ado, let's go through this. Number 1, Georgia Bulldogs. Number 2, this could be debatable, but I think Michigan just while they haven't played that many people that's worth a fuck at all, they've also dominated every game. Ohio State at 3, which I could honestly kind of see Ohio State even being up to 2, maybe even 1, because they do have the track record so far that they've beat a Penn State and they've beat the Notre Dame, which looks really good right now. But the Notre Dame game looks really well. 4, rounding out the playoff spots, Florida State. Just outside of that, at 5, Washington. And then from 6 to 10, you got Oregon, Texas, Alabama, Penn State, and Oklahoma. Going from 11 to 20, you got Ole Miss, Notre Dame, Missouri, LSU, 15 Louisville, 16 Oregon State, Air Force at 17, 18 Tennessee, 19 Utah, 20 UCLA. And from 21, rounding out the top 25 here, Tulane, James Madison, Southern Cal, entering the top 25, Liberty, and Kansas.
Oh, where's Duke?
Well, where's North Carolina?
North Carolina's a basketball school, sir.
Wow,
we'll talk more about that today.
Oh, we're about to. Let us know what you think about the rankings, our predictions here. Obviously, this is what we think it should be. What the playoff committee will do, we don't know, right? We're about to find out, right, what they're looking at, right, this year. It feels like, Keon, for what it's worth, is it me or does it just feel like sometimes it goes yearly what they look for seeding purposes?
Yeah, I'll say that. I'll say it goes yearly. I was having a couple of conversations and from different fans of different fan bases. Some Texas fans actually are rooting for our success, believe it or not. Because honestly, if Texas wins out and Georgia wins out, got to put them in, right?
I mean, maybe.
Got to.
I think it's worth discussing for sure.
That Ohio State, Michigan stuff, that's going to play itself out before the end of it.
If we pull this back up, right, as it stands right now, excuse me, Georgia, if they win out, they're in, right? Michigan, Ohio State, that will work itself out. Florida State still has to go in and then probably play a Louisville team in the ACC title game. I'm not saying I'm not going to give it 100% chance they enter or finish the season undefeated. Okay, Washington, with how they've played, and they've got a couple games that could go either way. Watch out for Washington there. Oregon is the best team, most complete team in the Pac-12. Oregon also lost on the road at Washington. I think you're going to see a rematch between Washington and Oregon in the Pac-12 title game, and there is a decent chance that the winner of that conference championship could go into the playoffs.
Yeah, and if you're telling me that Oregon and Washington are going to be in the Pac-12 championship, I have Oregon winning it.
I do too. If we're looking at this situation too, Keon, right? Texas with one loss, right? Texas with one loss to Oklahoma, but they had the win against Bama, and if they win out, and say they play Oklahoma or Oklahoma State or whoever, I don't know who they play.
Yeah, they would probably play Oklahoma.
So if they go and they avenge that loss, this is the playoff committee's nightmare, trying to figure out
100%.
a one loss Florida or undefeated Florida State team's got to make it. You know, Ohio State, if Ohio State wins out or Michigan wins out, we know they're going in there. If Oregon wins out and they, it's going to be messy. It could be messy.
So while you have this up, Rob, my personal opinion, I don't see Florida State being there at the end of the year. I really don't. I see them losing a game before then. And if that happens, then it's absolutely chaos and mayhem.
Yeah, because let's be honest, you're assuming that things stay the same and Georgia wins out and wins the SEC title game, there's no question that they're number one at the end of the season. I genuinely think, right, we always talk about being number one to start. Can be a bad thing or good thing. But I think when it comes to playoff seeding this year, you want that one seed.
Oh, you definitely do.
A lot of people, maybe are okay with the 2 seed or 3 seed, right? I mean, Georgia was a 3 seed on our first national title run, first one, right? I think this year you need to have that one.
Oh, you definitely do, and I think, especially now, I mean, because yet again, the Ohio State Michigan thing is going to pan itself out.
Yeah. See, I see this.
Washington, Washington, and Florida State have to remain perfect
Yeah.
because boy, if they don't let Washington lose a game before they get to the Pac-12 championship.
Yeah. Because I mean, if you think about it, like if say that, so if say the situation works out and you have Georgia, do you want Michigan? Do you want Ohio State in this for hypothetical concerns?
All right, so for hypothetical, we'll go Georgia, Michigan.
Okay. If Florida State wins out, I think Jeff says Florida State's not losing before the playoff, so we'll put them in. That's a 3.
I don't
Right?
know,
Well,
man.
Hear me out, though. Hear me out. If Washington stays undefeated, they're easily the 4 seed.
Yes.
Now, if they lose a game, the box of chaos opens up because you would have a 1-loss Washington team, a 1-loss Oregon team, a potentially 1-loss Texas team, currently a 1-loss Bama team, and obviously I think you'll have to play itself out. But Penn State, what if Penn State beats Ohio State?
They
It
already
would be
played.
fucking. I'm sorry, Ohio. I mean Michigan. Sorry.
So here's the thing.
It could just be
If
chaos, man. It could be pure chaos.
so, are you talking about? So you talking about from like the end of the year? Or are we talking about like bowl play?
I'm
Because
just thinking. I'm thinking when the final playoff rankings are set, and say for instance, like
okay,
when you.
wait. So pull it back up again because there's a couple of things there. Um, by the time the final playoff rankings are set, uh, Michigan and Ohio State would have already played each other.
Yep. So that
So
could push
there's
them out potentially. Yeah.
Michigan would have already played Penn State, so that would have dropped them out of the race
Unless Penn
completely.
State beats Michigan somehow.
So if Penn State beats
Oh my
Michigan,
God.
so and that's why I say Florida State isn't staying undefeated because now we'll get back into the Georgia and Florida game, but especially since Florida has lost to us, they have to beat Florida State. Them or Miami, and then you got Louisville who's still fighting for a space.
Yeah. Well, see, I think it sets itself up. Stuff's going to play out, but
I
it
think the team
creates pure chaos though, like
so
pure chaos.
I think the team that's in the best position right here right now,
Probably Oregon.
you know who it would actually be? I think it would actually be Texas, and let me tell you why. Because if Texas goes back to the Big 12 championship and they face off Oklahoma and they beat them, you have to put them in. Especially if Georgia wins out. Like if we don't lose a game between here and the first playoff game, you have to put Texas in there. Because one, that means they beat top ranked teams. That also means, I mean, because you got to understand, we would
But
be
I think,
handing Bama,
yeah.
in
Well, hear
that
me out.
case, we would be handing Bama their second loss.
Well, hear me out though. Hear me out. If Oregon, if right now their only loss is a Washington, what 1 point or 2 points on the road,
Hmm.
you're telling me that they would have to go play USC, Utah, which they just decimated, and rematch against Washington, and say if they beat them, that's a more deserving team than a Texas team. I don't care what anyone says.
I don't think so. And the reason being is because one, your top ranked team that you played was in conference. Texas put Alabama on the schedule. And if I'm Texas, I'm looking at it like, well, hey, wait a second. We just won our conference, and a team that we beat just competed for their conference.
Well,
I mean,
I see the logic. It's somebody's going to be pissed off. Somebody's going to be pissed off. My thing is this:
and then
you
I lost to a top ranked team. I lost to a top 10 team that I also ended up beating in my conference championship. You got 2 top 10 wins on your schedule by the end of the year.
But I think it too, though, if Oregon wins out, which I think they have a really good shot at doing that,
I do believe that.
they've got a tough slate ahead of them. I'm not going to say they don't, but if they win out and they play Washington in the rematch, and if they handle Washington, there's no reason for me not to put them in at least a 3 or 4, because the Pac-12 has had the best football top to bottom this year, and I can't discredit that.
So I can make an argument for Texas, Oregon,
Texas
and Michigan.
handled a Bama team. You're not wrong, right? And Bryant Denny, by the way.
Yeah, so that was a road game.
Well, 100%. So you have to take that into context. I know that. But the problem was you lose to Oklahoma, but if you avenge it, right? The thing is, the amount of quality teams in your conference has to be accounted for. When you play USC and you play Utah,
isn't a quality team.
Listen, I'm just saying they've been ranked for the whole season, even regardless if they're shit or not. You played Utah, they're still ranked, right? Washington's still ranked. They're above you right now. You lost to them, but if you avenge it, right? The case for Oregon, I think, might be slightly higher than Texas, but that's not for us to decide, is it?
No, but I do think that there's going to be a world where I think Florida State loses.
If you're Texas or Oregon, Kobe says this. Kobe says if you're Texas or Oregon, you're praying for Florida downfall.
100%. Because guess what? If I'm a fan base, if I'm a fan of either one of those fan bases, if Florida State falls, hey man, we're both in.
Well, the thing about it is, if Florida State falls, did you know Texas and Oregon have a shot at making it in there anyway, or Washington and Texas or whatever?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if Florida State loses, then it opens up everything.
Literally. Yeah.
Because 2 and 3 have to clear themselves out. Now the question is, how do they lose? Whoever loses, is it a close loss? But if Michigan were to lose against Ohio State, that strength of schedule pushes them to 5. Sorry. Pushes them to 5.
There is a scenario. Not saying that this is going to happen. I want to be clear on this. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but there is a scenario that if Georgia loses a game between now and then the first playoff game, let me be clear and say I think we're in there no matter what. Like, all the way. Like, we would have to drop 2 games between now and playoffs.
Well, you have to. I don't really want to wish this, but we have to look at this just in case.
Right.
If Georgia ends up slipping to, first off, if you slip up, it's a matter of when you slip up. First, right. If you slip up to Missouri, right? If you slip up to Mizzou, then you have to decimate Ole Miss. You have to decimate Tennessee on the road. You have to win out in a convincing fashion, and also win the SEC championship game in convincing fashion. Because the fortunate thing is the back half of our schedule is solid enough to where if we handle business, right? If we handle business, you should be fine. If you don't, you're back to the old feeling where you have to win the conference title to even remotely stand a shot, right? That's where your leverage goes away if you lose, obviously. Something we haven't felt in a long time, it feels like, saying this. But at the same time, you have to make sure that you have to win out. Yeah, see, and also Kobe says this: if you lose to Mizzou, you're not leading the East. You have to hope Tennessee beats Missouri.
Yeah, see,
and then beat Tennessee.
Yeah, see, that's where life gets scary.
You handle Missouri. I think you win the East, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's pretty much over.
Well, Tennessee.
No, that's
Tennessee lost to Florida. Tennessee lost to Florida. That's our only conference loss. Nope, 2 conference losses. Even though it's not the East, conference losses.
Who else did Tennessee? Oh, Bama.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
So it might be.
Hey, you know what? Appreciate you, Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smoke it if you got it, right?
Right.
But yeah, no, the playoff. So that's our playoff prediction to AP Top 25. You know what? I'm gonna give a shout out to Air Force. Keep doing your thing. Dude, they dominated in the snow.
Yes, they did. Shout outs to Air Force. And I know you as an airman, putting warheads on foreheads. Shout outs to you.
Oh, yeah. Dropping bombs over Baghdad. Wait, sorry. Don't get too political there. Sorry, man.
Yeah, right.
So Kobe does clarify you would have to drop Ole Miss and Tennessee, so you don't have 100% clinch probability. You're like 99%. Makes sense. Anyways, Keon.
Yeah.
We've talked about the Gator. Are we ready to put this year's cocktail party to bed?
Well, we've already buried the lizard, so we might as well.
Thought you ate him, but fair enough. Either way. This year's cocktail party has come and gone. Georgia handled business, wax that ass, if you will. And now, Keon, we get to move to our favorite part of the week, and that is none other than your team is trash. And you have to deal with that. The list of teams that make this potentially interesting is abundant, Keon. Now, the question is, would you prefer to go first, or should I do the honors? It's completely up to you. Or we can let the brigade decide who they want to go first.
Let the brigade decide. Let me know who they say.
Okay. So
drop it in the comments. You want me to go first?
Yeah, who goes first? We're gonna drop that in there. In the meantime, though. Oh God. Did you get to see a lot more games outside of the cocktail party?
Yeah.
It was rough. It was rough. There's some contenders here, man. That's gonna be it's a mess. Oh man. If I don't hear nothing back in like a minute, Keon, we're gonna have to just go. Keon, let's do this. Let's have some fun with it. On air, Rochambeau to see who wins. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I got scissors.
I got scissors.
All right, do it again. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Paper. Damn, we're good at this. Go first. I'm done with it.
Rock, paper, scissors champion out here,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Keon,
I'm going to jump off. I'm going to let you go first, sir. You take over. You get pick of the litter on this one.
Okay. All right, man. Let's talk about it. Oh, my gosh. Let's just be honest with ourselves. Let's just call it what it is. Let's just be all the way honest. North Carolina. You are a basketball school with a football program. I mean, y'all let Georgia Tech put up 46 points. I didn't even know that they could do that. This is absolutely egregious. Haynes King. You let a Texas A&M reject take you up through there. And I mean, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. He went 23 for 30. 287 yards? Is this Haynes King or is this Kirk Cousins? I don't even know anymore. UNC. Tar Heels. Your football team is trash, and you have to deal with that. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
If you thought that was bad, I'm going to give you something even worse. You ready for this, Keon?
Oh,
Clemson, the Tater Man. Oh, God, it just gets better and better and better and better. You're 4-4 for the first time since 2010. And the best part about it is you lost to an NC State team. And they didn't even do anything impressive. They didn't even have 100 yards rushing. They really didn't. Their quarterback had 138 yards passing. They barely had maybe 200 yards total offense. And you still gave up 24 points and you lost 24-17. At this point in time, the serious questions for Dabo Swinney have to be addressed. They have to be raised. They have to be answered. But you have to be careful. Because if you bring up those questions, you might just get this response right here. On 3 Sports tweets out, Dabo Swinney was asked by a fan during his coach's show why Clemson's paying him a huge salary just to go 4-4. His response to that caller: "You're part of the problem. If you want to apply for the job, go for it, and good luck to you." Clemson, you don't have a championship squad. You never did. It's not the players, Dabo. It's not the fans. It's on you, and you continue to duck and tuck your tail and run like a little bitch. You're never standing up. You're never taking accountability, yet you want to dish the accountability to your quarterback and all these other kids. It's on you. It's on you for being 4-4 right now. It's on you for being holier than thou, not going to the portal, sticking your nose up to it, never doing that. Now you're behind from a talent perspective. Your offense is fucking ass. Your defense ain't that good. You're a mid fucking team. We're getting to watch your demise in real time. And I love it. I'm here for it. And to start the 2024 season, if I don't recall, you played Georgia. So if you're still around, bring that team and get exposed and beat by 40 to start your season off. And your season will be over before it even begins next year, if you're even there. If you're even there. Let Tyler the caller run the fucking program, you dumbass. You're a terrible coach. You were a good coach. Your failure to adapt is the reason why Clemson is where they are right now. That's on you. So with that being said, Dabo Swinney, Clemson, your team is trash. Absolute trash. Nothing but trash. And you have to deal with that.
All right, so I got 2 more. We're gonna try to run through them real quick. Let's zero back in. Let's talk about basketball school, shall we? Because that wasn't who I was expecting Rob to go with. Let's talk about it. Duke, 0-23. Are we serious? Of course not. Riley Leonard, 9 for 23. 121 yards. 1 interception. All right. Then over here you have Jack Plummer, 11 for 16. 117. Took you up through there. But see, Duke, usually I would say, maybe y'all probably was trying to run the ball. That wasn't the case. 5 carries, 23 yards from Mr. Waters. But I got Jawar Jordan on my fantasy team. Shout outs to him. He went crazy. 21 carries, 160, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 tuds. Gotta love it. I mean, Duke, you're a basketball school. You're not like UNC, an elite basketball school, but, you're a basketball school. Riley Leonard, you look like Daniel Jones. If there's anybody that would know on this show, it would be me. I'm a Giants fan. And both of y'all aren't good. Riley Leonard. Dookies. Got a message. Your team is trash, and you have to deal with that. Jesus Christ.
You hurt my feelings, dude. You hurt my feelings, man. My hot take is now ruined. By
I
the
got
way.
one. I got one final one.
Yeah, one final one.
I got one more. Just one more. If we can give me one more. I'm gonna save the best for last. I gotta let you know that your team is ass. Florida. We're just gonna address the team top to bottom. So we gotta start it where it starts. G5 Billy. Come here. Let me holler at you. I don't think you're prepared for this. I don't think you understand what this is. Trick plays when it's 4th and 1, already going for trick plays. You don't even want to win the game for real. You wasn't thinking about possibly putting your team in a better situation. And even then, if you wanted to go for it, why are you doing a trick play? Doesn't make any sense to me. Graham Mertz, Murder Mertz is what they call you over there in Florida. Mr. Meter Mertz is what you looked like. 25 for 34. Solid game. 230. 2 touch. One of them came in garbage time. Kept getting hit and kept getting sacked. We don't know what's going on with you. But I'm here to let you know. Here to let your DC know. Who I was hearing was called Baby Kirby. Yeah. Yet again, he ain't a baby nothing. He's fucking trash. Lad McConkey, Oscar Dell. I mean, you name a wide receiver, they were cooking. Like, what are y'all doing? Staying in zone the whole time? Shotgun formation. Nobody's in the backfield with Carson Beck. It's just him. It's just him and the referee. Y'all want to run zone? No, man. What are we doing? What are we doing? So I got to say, not only to the fan base, to the fans, to the front office, to the players, to the coaches, I'll start with Prince, who wanted to sit up and argue with people on the timeline. I'll go to Austin, who was sitting up here talking about a team that was 24-0 leading into the game. Oh, they got to come and play us. We blew you the fuck out. Look yourself in the mirror after you did that and say, hey, I said all of this to the media, and we proceeded to get curb stomped. Your team is trash, and you have to deal with that. Don't get your ass bust by fucking Arkansas.
Don't. You're right.
Slow down, baby.
Wait a second, Michigan. It's not. You're too early. We didn't even show signs yet.
No, we haven't done it yet. We haven't even talked about our Missouri game yet, so I don't know why you're still here. I'm going to tell another game. I'm going to bring up another. I think, Keon, I'm going to keep it up on dual right here because this one has to be brought up. I think we're going to have a twofer here. Okay, a twofer. Do we bring up the first one in Utah? Utah. What happened? I thought y'all played defense. This is what happens, J-Double-G. This is your doing. This is yours. You did this. Oregon came in, bent them over. Not nice about it. In their home, by the way. It's hard to win at Utah, by the way. And they beat them
really?
35-6. Just bent them over.
Little ass stadium.
Well, yeah, if you will. Don't tell that to Florida fans. Oh, shit. Fucked around and found out there.
Sure did.
Utah, listen, Cam Rising being out has made an impact on this team, but that's not a way to go out, man. That was terrible, especially in your own home. If you'd have went to Eugene and that would happen, maybe we'd be a little bit less lenient on you, but the fact that it was at your own home, it's a bad way to go. And I think we're going to end on this one because this one had some major playoff implications. Keon, you've got some Sooner fans, don't you?
Yeah. You know, Oklahoma's not too far from where I'm at currently.
What happened there, Oklahoma man?
I don't know what they went through.
Kansas came in, talked to.
You know what's funny? You know what's really funny? It's just I believe it was either last season or the season before. You were hearing Texas fans say that Kansas is a respectable program, and I remember OU fans laughing at it. And now OU fans are saying
Kansas is a respectable program.
And Texas fans are like, yeah, I know, huh?
Didn't they have their backup quarterback too?
Yeah.
There's a reason why we got them ranked right now because they're not a bad team. First off, well, I ain't going to say first off, but Lance Leipold is going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And he's going to get a big-time job from this.
Oh, 100%.
You're doing something at a Kansas program that prior to him being there is, and I wouldn't say impossible, but virtually extremely difficult to impossible to do.
Yet again, basketball school.
Not so fast, my friend. Yeah, no, it's congrats to Leipold, by the way, because in last year it was Texas, now it's Oklahoma, and you send Oklahoma, man, you send Oklahoma out with a bang, don't you? Out of the Big 12. Because SEC fans, we're about to be sitting there looking at, dude, you got to be by Kansas. Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
I just thought that was very interesting, man. All they had to do was win out, and they're in the playoffs, man.
That's literally it. Controlled their own destiny all the way through.
Big 12, Big 12.
That's it. That is it. But I got to say it. They are trash, and they have to deal with that. Go ahead, hit them with the graphic. Let them know. Let them see it. Hold on. Let me read it to them one more time while it's up. Your team is trash, and you have to deal with that. Man.
Yep. Keon, we're about done with this tonight, man. Wednesday.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we gotta have a conversation on Wednesday about these records, because I know I done cleared. I'm closing the gap now. I'm closing the gap. We can't say I'm not.
Just gonna let you know. Goated candy that's probably underrated.
Yeah. Okay.
Vanilla fruit juice, man. Vanilla fruit juice.
Go ahead and sponsor the pod because we both love your candies.
I love that. God, they're so good. Speaking of sponsors, we didn't even bring it up. I feel sorry about this, but I don't feel sorry because there was a lot to get off my chest tonight.
100%.
But we thank you for both sponsors here of the show. We're going to do this quick. First one, Apotheos Roastery. Guys, best coffee in the fucking business. And when you go to our website, dgdpodcast.com, and you click the sponsors and you click Apotheos, go to their site, order using our website. Every single bag of coffee, every single K-cup that you purchase, 20% of the proceeds from that, from each bag, by the way, will go to the Classic City Collective. And the Classic City Collective, for those that aren't familiar, the official NIL of Georgia Athletics. So do yourself a favor, get yourself some coffee first off. Excellent coffee. They're in Walmart in, Alpharetta. And I think they're going into Lilburn now, too. Lilburn, Georgia. Opening up in the Walmart location there. So get you some coffee, stop by. Let them know DG Podcast sent you, by the way. If you go to Kennesaw and you go to the actual store, let them know we sent you. And let Jason know that he does a great job roasting them beans every single day. Second, Alumni Hall. It's the best way to get geared up for game day, tailgating, You name it, Alumni Hall has you covered. Again, dgdpodcast.com. Go to our sponsors, click Alumni Hall. You can view our website, all the information there. You can support myself. You can support Keon, the Spike Squad, all these different things that help you navigate around. But go check all they got. Nike.
Would love your support 100%. Wearing the Air Maxes right now, gotta say, best shoes out here on the market.
All right. Pull them up. Take one off and pull it up. Hold on.
All right, hold on. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, look at this. There you go, folks. Y'all saw him. My man wasn't lying when he said he got the Air Maxes on deck. I'm telling you right now, better than the Pegasus, by the way. Just going to leave that
100%. 100%.
Better than the Pegasus. Yeah.
Air Max.
Without a question. Oh, okay. Okay. I see Walla coming in. Got his coffee today. Said he's going to try it out tomorrow. Okay. Now, question is, what blend of coffee did you get, sir? That's the question. I need to know this. I want to stick home for that, by the way.
No. We got to stick around for that.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Oh, also, yet again, one more preview. Air Maxes, gone ahead and get it. $17.85 right there for you as well. And if you check the tongue, what we got here? Dog with his tongue out. Hey, let's go. Go dogs. Go dogs. Go get yours right now, Alumni Hall.
Yup. I'm just saying, dude. Comfortable shoes. First off, look good. You feel 100%. Good. I'm just saying, Alumni, if you need anything, by the way, I don't know about you, Keon, in Texas, but it is cold as shit. Going to be tomorrow night. Tomorrow night it's going to be cold.
Right now, I woke up today. It was, 38 degrees?
Was it?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Wow. I'll actually tell you what the temp is right now.
Do it. So you said that, okay, dark roast, silky smooth. Are we talking about Classic City Collective dark roast? Because if so, that's my favorite, by the way.
Oh, we're under freeze warning. Currently, it's 45 degrees.
Oh, wow. Okay. Fair enough.
What about you? In the 60s?
Right now, but tomorrow it's supposed to get to freezing, actually. So,
see, yet again, wintertime is here. I got to actually get me another beanie.
Now, we'll get off this in just a second, but did you know that they just dropped the military line, the camouflage, like the green line, basically?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, no. Also, use code, I think it's use code DGD and get 30% off your order at Apotheos, by the way.
100%.
Yeah, check that out. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, dude, it's the best. It's the best one. It's the best one. Listen, I'm telling you right now, though. That's a personal testimony right there from Walla. Right? I will tell you this, though. When it comes to their coffee, there really isn't a bad batch, and I've been one to try all of them.
Yep, there you go.
There you go. Now, obviously, there's situations where you might dislike it compared to the others, but it's still not bad. Still not bad. Yeah. But with that being said, Keon, let's put the Gator hater to bed for another year, guys. 25 straight victories. Another 365 years beating them damn Gators.
Yeah.
And they got to come deal with that in 363 more days.
Yeah.
And they won't be ready again. They just won't. They just won't.
I'm telling you, dogs is hell.
So another 365 days from now, guys, we'll be on here talking the same shit because it'll just keep happening until proven otherwise. The only way for them not to lose to us is if they take us off the schedule. And
that's really it.
That ain't happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't happening. Keon, it's been a good night, man. It's been a good night. But we've got to get off here because the next episode, guys, we got to talk about these Missouri Tigers. I'm going to leave it there. Have a great night. Remember, let them teams know if you ain't a Georgia fan. Keon, if they're not a Georgia fan, what do they need to let these folks know about? What do they need to let them know?
You need to know your team is trash, and you have to deal with that. Go Dogs.
Absolutely. Go Dogs. We'll catch y'all next time. and have a good night.
Dogs on top.